Okay, it is 10:06, and I have been deputized to call the meeting to order.
So, according to Robert's rules, when the president and vice president are not here, we have to vote for a temporary chairperson for the meeting to run the meeting, and once that meeting is over, the temporary chairperson will be...
She's right there.
Yes, so there needs to be a motion for that.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Is there a
I'll
second?
I'll
Okay.
second,
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
All right, move on.
Remember that temporary piece of
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
but here we go, folks, we're gonna get
Very
stuff
careful.
done. All right, good morning. Is there any public comment today?
I'll pass. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, follow
Happy
Christ.
holidays to you and everybody. Thank you. Okay, so moving on to the consent agenda. We have on there the minutes from August, minutes from October, our financial report.
I'm thinking you have an old one. You got the
I'm
old-
sorry, I do.
Read it. There you go.
Okay, my bad. Okay, new agenda. Consent agenda is minutes from November, a little more up to date, and the financial report from November 2025. So that's what's on the consent agenda. Is there any public comment?
No.
Okay, are there any questions from the board? Discussion?
Not for me.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I'll abstain because it wasn't there.
Okay.
It's-
Okay, motion carries. Okay, moving on to presentations and updates. We don't have a report from the president unless she forwarded something to you, Greg?
Nope.
Nope, okay. And now we move on to the report from the treasurer.
Don't look at me.
He's a free man.
Treasurer is
First
absent.
Oh, okay. All right, so none. Okay, what about
We'll call him.
the district coordinator?
I'll keep it short and sweet as well. Everything's been decorated, as you guys can see. We had the tree lighting, we had the parades. Tree lighting went well. As always, there was a room to grow, room to learn. And we're already prepping for, we're gonna have a meeting in February to prep for next year. And then I've already initiated all of the cleanup for the holidays, scheduling in January. And then we're gonna start doing something for Valentine's Day and potentially St. Patrick's Day. It all depends on how much we want to encourage drinking. But, you know, we're gonna probably put out some stuff to make sure you visit the local eateries and drinkeries to support the downtown. And that's about it. I'm making some plaques to make sure our murals are properly highlighted, and the rest is status quo, to be honest.
How was attendance at that tree lighting?
Weaker than we thought.
Okay.
A lot of the attendance was from the people that were, from the kids' parents that were doing the performances, and once those performances were over, they bailed pretty fast.
Yeah.
We did close the street off. We didn't do a full street closure in the sense that we took all the parking spots away, but at 4 to 6 p.m., the PD did block all the entrances, but left all the cars there. So that did not impact. There was a snafu, there was a communication error between the city and the parking garage, where we've been advertising that it was free, and it was not.
Oh.
So we've been doing damage control on that. We put some videos and some apologies online, and we are reimbursing anybody who comes forward with a receipt. But that
The
was,
city's not gonna waive those?
it's been paid,
Okay.
and so far, I paid 4 gift cards for a total of $20. So I'm like, I'm not even gonna make an issue out of $20. But it was somewhat disappointing, and that just means, I mean, we had confirmation from the city, but it just, I needed to send out more reminders. I thought it was taken care of, and it wasn't. So we just need to loop them in better, I guess. So, but that was the biggest.
We sent something asking for it to be waived.
Yes. Oh, yeah, back in August.
And did you hear anything from the city?
Yes,
And they said they would.
yes. And it just the communication between the city and then the garage operator, Laz, was not done properly. So, there was a lady who voiced her,
So who's at fault to with the city? And the culture.
So, is that something you want Greg to follow up on, or just
I
to be
would like to
move
know
on?
who has the responsibility of,
it was ultimately requested it was in by email in August, and it was confirmed in August. Immediately, that day I got a reply saying yes. And then we had a meeting on the 1st of October where the city manager, the assistant city manager, Public Works, we were all in that meeting, we discussed it again, and we all said yes. And then that was the last thing that I did until Monday of Thanksgiving, when I sent out a message to, the last group of people saying, hey, I'm confirming, and I sent this to Lisa, confirming the garage, and also to the police department confirming street closure. I got an email back from Lisa the next Monday, and with her saying that it was not, she didn't realize it was an action item for her. So there was just, maybe in my email I should have been more direct. Maybe I should have looped him in again earlier just to remind him. So I think I should have sent him another message in the beginning of November, and I did not do that because I assumed it was taken care of.
Do we know how many tickets were given out?
Well, there's no, validations. There were no parking tickets.
Okay, got it.
So it was the garage validations, and they were $5 a pop.
Yeah, okay.
So there was a video online of a lady that was upset about it,
Yeah.
and she tried to blast us, where she was like, they lied to you. And so the moment we saw that, I recorded a video saying, hi, I'm Greg, I manage the district, we promised this, there is a communication error. If there's anything, reach out to me, here's my phone number, here's my email address.
Okay.
Reach out to me and I will compensate you, I will reimburse you for your troubles. And so far, 4 people have come forward with a receipt. So, and no one else.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well,
Okay.
the disturbing part for me is the city in their allocations of the new year coming, put a whole whopping $100,000 into the parking garage.
Okay, I have not looked at the budget.
So I am very upset with the city as a whole.
Fair enough.
This is another example of nobody knows what right into and what they do.
What do they plan to do with 100,000?
It's not gonna go very far, whatever they're planning.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
Well,
just curious.
You
What
will
are they
get chewed
planning?
up
What
by
are they
the
gonna do?
bureaucracy.
Remove Gov or?
Well, I mean, that'll be a paint job just by itself. It's $100K. I mean, there's broken doors,
Do
there's
they
broken
use it for
gates.
security system?
So that, I want to keep us on track, so, yeah, just finishing up your report, making sure we're on topic.
Renee replied back to me saying that the city dropped the ball and he apologizes and will not happen again.
Well, that's good.
Who dropped? Who dropped?
So
Office
before we move on, Greg, you had a meeting with the business community.
Oh, yes.
Supposedly,
Yes.
and one person showed up.
No, there was a few more after you left.
Were there?
Yeah, there was about 4 of them.
Well, I'm just I got on the meeting just to see who showed up and what they said, and basically,
Yeah.
maybe you know something more
No,
now.
so I sent out messages to join a Zoom meeting this time instead of an in-person meeting for the business community to show up and to share their thoughts. And ultimately, I can't run this business committee. I mean, I can help kickstart it, but it's not, the business community needs to want to have some buy-in. I'm not going to hold everybody's hand. And of the 400 emails that went out, individual messages to all the email addresses that I have, 4 people showed up. Last month, practically 0, or actually I canceled the meeting because there was just no attendance, or no confirmations. And then the physical meeting before that was 3 people, and before that was 11 people. So there's only so much,
No buy-in.
there's no buy-in.
The purpose of the meeting is just to do like a check-in or? what's
Check
it,
check
you know,
in,
your
what can we do for
concerns,
you, what are we doing right, what are we doing wrong, how can we help you? And ultimately, I mean, it needs to be its own animal with their own recommendations, in my opinion. And whether they're gonna be a subcommittee or an ad hoc committee from Salinas City Center, or they branch off into their own association like Morgan Hill has, because they have both a property district and an association.
Well, does that just, people vote with their feet? Does that show that they're either content with how things are, or, you know, there's no there?
I'm gonna continue trying to set them up, but I'm gonna include in the message, and if I don't have 10 people confirming, I'm just gonna cancel it. And I'm doing the reach out, because I'm reaching out, but I'm not, if you're not gonna show up.
Is there one person in that group that you can be like, turn it over to? It's like, hey, if you guys want this,
Well, there's one guy,
you need to run with it.
Nick, he's a new realtor broker on Main Street there, on NT Real Estate. Yeah, Tortorella. He seems interested, but we'll see if he wants to run with that ball.
Is the main purpose of that group clear, what their mission is?
Still
Just a chat fest?
TBD.
Greg, have we used a questionnaire with that group?
I can do something, I can reach out and see, hey.
Well, I said, have we done it?
Oh, yeah, I've sent out messages asking what's the best time, and, you know, crickets.
What about content or concerns or agenda setting?
Yeah.
I've sent out agendas, I've sent out questions, and it's just crickets. There's a handful of people that give me a message, and then everybody else just doesn't respond.
So that's, clearly they don't see value in
They
that
don't.
time. So I don't know what they expect, you know, what they expect to get in return for that time, and if it's clear what their role is, and what they're empowered to do, and what their goals are, or what their leadership is. I think if that's gonna go, it should have its own leadership, should have its own chair, or
Oh, yeah.
or committee, that, you know, leads that group.
I agree, and that's what I sent out in my emails, and saying, like, this needs to be led by you guys. I'm here to help kickstart it, but you need to, like, this is for you. You need to figure out what you want, and if you want to spend, you know, if you want to have a recommendation for advertising dollars that go in a certain direction, or there's a certain item that you want to see addressed, this is for you. Let me know, and I will, you know, tell you guys about it, and you can make it, you know, financial decision, or help them spin off. But no one's biting. So it's somewhat frustrating.
Well, maybe if you could identify potential leadership and just get together with them and see if you can get them enrolled
Got it.
into, you know, taking a leadership role, and, you know, help them create the mission, and reaching out to their peers and see if they can get a committee together.
Okay.
And then let them sort of create the direction of the mission, and maybe that's, will give us a buy-in. But I think it's a good effort, you know, to know what's going on, you know, it's important.
That's basically it.
Okay. Any public comment? Any other questions from the board or direction? Okay. All right, thank you. So moving on to our ad hoc committee updates.
I'll do DISI, which is basically what I just talked about with the district coordinator, so that's it. SOBO,
Okay, SOBO?
we got, no, this was last month, you guys talked, a report, Amy was saying that we're being responsive and whatnot, so we're still doing the same thing. We've got security bouncing around people, making sure that they're not doing any silly things. Other than that, Kevin and Damien are staying on top of graffiti and trash, and we're rocking and rolling there.
Okay. And land use?
So, well, before we move on, Greg, so I know you set up those, what do you call them, like the people that are like monitoring the blocks. You know, I've sent you a couple of notes here and there. about, the area around our office and the admin center, so just curious, like, how that's going, like, we get other reports from people?
Oh, yeah,
or-
yeah, I'm getting
okay.
some reports, and ultimately the goal is to get more block captains more
Yeah,
involved in the managing of SOBO. But yes, I'm getting messages from the United Way, Cook Photography, you, a bunch of other people, and whenever they see little things, they, I sent Kevin out there to go look at, that thing you sent me
Yeah.
and pick up around that corner.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not sure who's responsible for that, because it's sort of on the county property.
It is,
but
yeah.
that's what I
It's
figured.
county property, but.
Yeah. If it's like right around the edges. I figured-
And the other guideline I give the guys is like, if there's trash on private property, but like it's on the cusp where it's gonna blow into the right of way,
Right.
just take care of it. So we're not cleaning up private property, but if it's like right there, yeah. And if it's definitely visible from the right of way, then, try and get it. So.
Land use committee, so it was Thanksgiving last month, so we didn't do a committee meeting. And then it's Christmas this month, so we'll probably kick it back off again in January, so I don't really have much to report on. Unless, I don't know, what are you hearing in your circles these days, Peter? You got a good sense of what's happening?
Well, not necessarily. I've been sort of focusing on trying to save the EDE.
Right.
We had a housing event on the 20th.
Which
You were
was
there.
really great,
It
yeah.
was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, was that the event at Sidewalk?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
there
it's
too, yeah, it was really solid. Yeah.
So it's, I've gotten feedback, it's all been positive from every interest, group. And one person, a workforce development contractor, went to every one of the housing programs in November, says ours is the only one having any solutions. So I think it's interesting, the city was not represented, well represented, only one person was there, and I think that's because the planning commissioner's chair, he asked them to be there. Other cities were there, and their feedback was very positive. So it's very good information, it's just that, what are they gonna do with it?
Yeah.
So we've been advocating to save the EDE. I think we got a call from the city manager and sat down in early November. He wanted to talk to us, I took Ruth Rodriguez and Amy Salmina, he wanted to talk to us about the update that the shareholders submitted. He said, you put in a lot of work in that, I think that's important, and I told my people we need to respond. So you'll hear from us in.
So you guys did like a deep dive in VE?
Yeah,
some updates to it?
we edited the whole thing. We
Updates.
struck out,
Yeah.
a whole bunch of stuff, because they were complaining about that. We added a few things. And then we also asked them to have a joint study session with the commissioners and the council on the EDE to allow the shareholders to present. This is kind of like Dennis did in his first administration with Mark Drever and the Blue Ribbon Committee. He gave the floor to, the community without any time limits. So that was very compelling. So I think that's what we've asked, and Renee didn't disagree with that, and suggested we do it at 1 Main Street. Yet to be seen, it's not been scheduled, we were looking in late January. So we got another call, calling us to a meeting with Renee on the 18th, on Thursday the 18th. And he was gonna bring Lisa Murphy and Lisa Brinton. And my assumption is that's gonna be their response to the shareholders update, EDE update. And I suspect it's not gonna be, you guys did a great job, we think we're gonna go the way the community's, indicated you're interested in. I think it's gonna be, it's great, but it's not feasible, we're too busy, we've got another direction, we spent time and money doing this other thing, so thanks very much. Here's a pat on your head. We'll make sure we put it as an appendix, and it'll be another report. It doesn't have any legislative power, so that's what I think is gonna happen that day. So, the 18th.
So you don't think, so are they not gonna include, as part of their general plan update, they're not gonna include economic development elements?
They are gonna include one, and they're gonna include the one they wrote.
Got it.
Ben's been presented earlier this year, which is 6 pages of nothing specific, nothing, no action, no action.
No timeline, deadlines.
It's just like, try to do this,
Collecting
endeavor to do
dust on the
that,
shelf.
work on this. It's like, you know, I say, work on workforce development, but no, plan on how to do that.
Let's hire more people.
And,
Great jobs.
and the economic development element says, here's how you do it. You create a technical training center, regional technical training center, you do it out here, and it goes right down and has the actual, how to achieve it. So I think that that's what the planning staff's reacted against. They don't want that kind of prescribed expectations.
How's this zoning, all this new zoning that they're going through right now? Are you seeing some more flexibility in the new or revised zoning codes?
They had well, yes.
Those are the land use designations, right, that they're thinking about, that they're completely revising all their general plan land use designations.
I mean, they're allowing for higher limits and
They may be, so I call the general plan as like a picture of the wedding cake. You know, it has a broad vision and values is exhibited in that. The zoning ordinance is the recipe on how you get that cake. So if you want housing, more affordable housing, it's in the economic development element is how to do that. And one of them is you rezone to allow houses of 1,000 square foot or less, it allows duplexes, triplexes, cottages, whatever. So maybe some of that is in there, I don't know. So they had a report to the council. They have presented a fairly robust community engagement program created by their consultant. But it's not clear to me that it's authentic. In other words, I made a point in public comment that the EDE started with a piece of white paper. We just went out to the community and did an authentic outreach and study and asked for their input. The EDE delivered on the vision that was identified by the community. So what I suspect is that they've been working on the zoning code update with their consultant, with their staff, and their version of public outreach will be similar to how they put out their economic development element update, which repeal the communities, is they're gonna put it up on the wall. Here's our draft zoning code update, we're gonna do this, I wanna do this, and you're then in a forensic, challenge to try and understand it all and, what the thinking is and what the basic ground rules were. And my point was, go to the community first and establish what their vision and their values are, what they want to see in the zoning code update, and then deliver on that. And then you have your community outreach to kind of get a check and say, here's how we're responding to your vision, what do you think? But I suspect it's going to be more of another box checking kind of community outreach.
Has there been any update on Amazon?
On the Amazon?
Yeah.
But the EDE, one of the things we added was to re-look at fees, because the fees go up, and they go up, and they keep going up. And at some point, they become counterproductive. For instance, the traffic impact fee kills projects. Kills projects. So we say that needs to be revised. You need to relook at that and see what the market tells you. Because the way they do it is they use the engineering news record. They have a construction cost index, 20th big metropolitan areas, so they're comparing Salinas to New York, San Francisco, LA, Kansas City, Chicago. And their index is what they apply to their rates. So they just go out of sight. So the EDE update that the shareholder said is like, we need to rethink that, and we need to meet with the community. And one of them you have to redo is the traffic fee, the ordinance. And for instance, on Amazon, they paid a tremendous fee, stunning. That fee ought to go primarily to mitigate traffic impacts created by that project.
by Amazon.
Not go out and build roundabouts on run.
Yes. That makes sense.
So they're not gonna support that. So I think if we want something like that, we have to support it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge problem with the vacant spaces, tenants can't you know, if they're swapping a business and the prior business generated like 10 trips per day and the new one generates 30, you're looking at like a $30,000 traffic impact.
Well, it's
And then, I mean, how many cupcakes you gotta sell to just accommodate what your cost of the impact fee? I mean,
And where is that money gonna go? Because
It just
most
sits
of the
in a
time,
pot
it doesn't go to
usually,
anywhere.
yeah.
It goes to the priority projects out of Public Works,
Yeah.
the traffic engineer.
Yeah,
But
so
it's also not applied properly or equitably. I had a project in downtown. It was a business office converted to a medical office building, which has a bigger, you know, more traffic according to the traffic figure. So this was just like 4 exam rooms and a waiting room, and everything else was the same, but they used the square footage and applied the medical office building and said, you owe us a traffic impact fee of $112,000. And I did what I used to do with Rob Russell, is I would look at that critically and say, look, your electric room didn't cause more traffic, the toilet rooms didn't cause. Let's just look at the medical exam rooms and the waiting area. And I did the calculation and said, we think with 30,000 would be fair. They say no. They don't even want to listen to that. They said, well, you have to go get a traffic engineer. So I did. I went and got a traffic engineer, and I had the client
Spend the $2
keep
grand.
book on how many people came and how they came, because a lot of the cars have multiple, family members. And so we turned it in and said, our traffic impact fee is negative. We don't owe you any fee. So I sat around for about 10 days, and I was on the way to a Giants game, opening day, I think, and I got a call from this city that said, yeah, we agree. We don't necessarily agree with your method, but we agree there's no traffic impact fee. So the client didn't have to pay 112, didn't have to pay 30. He paid $0.
There you go.
And that happened also with the bingo place out at the Harley dealership.
Yeah.
They wanted something like 45, the same exercise, nothing, no fee.
Good.
So I think it's actually a tax. I think it's an illegal tax. But they have done the nexus to say, if you do a project on South Main, that affects traffic on Barunda Road. So,
Anyway,
I mean, there are solutions to so many things in the EDE. I mean, it's just about anything anybody comes up with, I can point out a solution.
So anything else on land use?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Trying to keep the city in check and making sure that, this general plan update is going to be critical, and so we need to look at what their policies are relative to the downtown area, and if they're consistent with our vision for this area. It's really important because that thing's going to guide zoning decisions and land use decisions.
Well, it's so critical, because these are once in 20-year documents.
Right.
So this is not frivolous stuff.
I'm wondering if our group should be involved in this rent stabilization project we have in the downtown, right? It's in the whole city, rather. But the amount of money, the city is now taking in $1.7 million. They don't know what to do with the money. They're paying for 3 or 4 people who are on this staff to collect money. And now they're saying, well, maybe we should give it back to the landlords. Or maybe we should apply the money to rent reductions for all the tenants that are affected by this thing. And I
Why
think to myself, this is the absolutely most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
why don't they do this? Why don't they accelerate the zoning code update for housing?
Yeah.
Or take those
Exactly,
recommendations out of
exactly.
the EDE, don't wait for 2 more years. Salinas is the most expensive housing in the country,
We need to build.
in the country. Why wait? Take that money and write the zoning code update for those housing actions.
Or help subsidize the affordable housing aspect of these housing projects, because a lot of these projects don't pencil out because they get saddled with these affordability requirements, or make it really challenging. So maybe, I don't know, you collect some funds and.
They've got 3 people on staff now, and they want another person on staff, and Sandoval's sitting there in the council meeting, oh yeah, why don't we get it right now?
Well, there's a problem with like giving away or subsidizing rent or something. That doesn't do anything about housing
No.
prices.
It does
Yeah,
nothing.
so use it to like ameliorate that problem.
It's supply and demand. You gotta build more housing. That's the only answer.
That's right. So another item is the city selected a deputy director of economic development, a guy named Nathan Hugh, out of Santa Cruz. So he's gonna be working with Lisa Murphy.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay, so I'm gonna bring us back to
Yeah.
the report,
Okay.
concluding the report. I guess if you want to suggest any further conversation about the rent stabilization issue, could the land use committee
I think we
consider
should.
that?
Well, we
We
can-
I
can-
believe we should
Yeah.
stay active in that. We've got a lot of people that own a lot of real estate in the
that-
downtown.
We huddled up after that housing event, and Katie was there, and we met with the speakers, and we were talking about what's next. So one of the things that occurred to us is just exactly what I suggested is, why don't we write the housing, zoning code update for this housing?
Yeah.
And we do it ourselves. What are they gonna say? It's in the economic development element already, so it has legislative standing. They can't say this is not in alignment with anything.
Right.
Or they're gonna say, oh, we're gonna handle that, we're taking great care of that. Well, like you have for the last 20 years, we have had no progress on making housing affordable. So the timing and the standing it's there.
So that,
So I've asked for a proposal for that. I've asked for a EMC who did the economic development element. I said, what would you charge to write the zoning codes for those housing affordability actions? So I expect to get a proposal in a week or two.
Good.
and then can we, go ahead.
I'll add this to the land use committee agenda for next
Great.
time, and we can
Discuss it.
Have a
discuss ad nauseam.
All right.
Good, thank you. All right.
Sorry.
Lot of traction there with land use. Okay, public comment? No? Okay, any other questions, discussion?
Only thing I just throw out, I think everybody needs to keep their eye on the, Sherwood Hall. You're gonna start to see a lot of money spent.
Where?
Sure, we
Sure.
will.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on with contract there.
For what?
Rebuilding.
Repairs. I mean, they shut Sherwood Hall down. So,
Is that a city project?
city property.
Yeah, yeah.
It's shut
Yeah,
down.
well,
Is
they got
it shut
money,
down now?
they're gonna spend money
Shut
on
down.
Sherwood?
But there's no change in use.
I don't know about changing use outside of, you got a fire department.
Does the city rent their own buildings?
I doubt it.
I don't know enough about Sherwood.
No, that building is probably gonna be in the buildings.
You know, when I first started working with my dad, I came up with this idea of doing an underpass, take a market underpass at Baton Park.
Great idea.
It is a great idea. I went down, met with Rob Russell of Public Works. He pulled out a drawing from probably the 60s. And before the community center was built out of Sherwood.
Yep.
And it showed the community center built in Baton Park. It had taken Front Street and routed it parallel to the railroad tracks, put the community center there in the 60s. Now imagine if they had done that. Now you can see the city going, oh, that's expensive. We're gonna put it out there, where we own land. So to build that out there for 40 years or 50 years, underutilized facility out there, that's expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, any other,
I got a million of them, sorry.
yeah. So we'll keep our eye on that one. Okay, board member questions and referrals.
Do you guys have anything that you want me to dig into specifically, or have questions about that are not on the agenda that I need to add for next time or look into for next time? Other than EDE and land use and things like that.
Nothing for me.
Awesome. You know where to find me if you do.
Merry Christmas.
All right, so then moving on, we have consideration for adoption of fiscal year 2025, 2026 ad hoc committee work plans. Which were in the packet,
Yeah,
right?
they are in the packet. They're after the budget. I'm sorry, they're after the financials.
Okay, so we have a work plan for each committee. You want to talk us
Sure,
those, or
yeah,
what?
these are, we're required to create work plans per our management agreement with the city. This is I've sent these out to the committee several times, a few times. I've updated and added, removed tasks that we accomplished, goals that we accomplished, goals that we're setting. And basically, this is our template to work of for fiscal 25-26 for our respective committees. It's nothing earth-shattering here, but just general updates based on last year's work plan, and we're just continuing to grow from there.
Do we need to approve these?
We do.
Is that the idea?
Yes.
And do we do that as a group, or do you want to do it one by one?
That's up to you guys. But we can do it as a group if you guys all want to lump them in together.
And can you just remind us what was the process for drafting these work plans?
Sure, I basically took last year's work plan, I looked at what we accomplished, and I updated the accomplishments from fiscal 24-25, and then anything that we did not accomplish or we're still working towards, I added to the goals for fiscal 25-26, and I did that for DISI, SOBO, and land use. And sent it out for comment to the respective ad hoc committee chairs, and made a few changes based on those comments, but most of it has stayed the same, and it's very similar to last year's work plan, to be quite honest. There's just updated goals.
Okay.
Most of it, most of the stuff is, for land use, is basically continuing on from current. I mean, it's basically a standing list. For DISI, it just talks about increasing some of our decorations, increasing some of our marketing, being more specific about certain marketing. From SOBO, it's talking about continuing tree care, continuing with landscaping, continuing security, adjusting hours as needed. I mean, I hate to say it, it's not really that exciting.
Kind of operational.
It's very operational
Okay.
and, yeah. But it does have to be updated.
We have to approve all three?
Yeah, so the only thing that I think, Greg, we might want to add for the goals of the land use committee, I was just jotting it down, maybe a statement about supporting and advocating for goals, policies, and objectives in the general plan update that benefit and facilitate economic development within the district. So it's, and I'll give you that language. I mean, that number one sort of does that, you know, implementation of downtown vibrancy, but it's a little bit, this one's a little more specific and focused on the general plan update.
I think I'd add suggest we add the zoning code update to that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And zoning code update, yeah.
If you
Because
could-
that's gonna trail, I think, the general plan update. Once they get that done, my understanding, they're gonna start grinding away on that 2026. So just, yeah, here's the language. If you wanna, yeah, I think you just add after update zoning code.
Yep.
General plan and zoning code updates or something. yeah.
Support and advocate for goals, policy, objects in the general plan update and
Zoning code.
Zoning code.
Update. That's not there, you just have to add
Yeah.
that benefit.
will do. So if you guys want to, you can make a motion to adopt all plans with a land use as amended during the discussion.
I have another question before we do that. And so what about the parking district study? Are we gonna pursue that, or are we giving up on it? Because I think we were fine with it, and we were supportive of it, it's just we didn't have
Finding
the
a funding source, right?
And I've been looking, I've reached out to our grant writer, I've searched myself, because we do have a subscription to Grant Station, which is a granting software, and as what I'm finding, that as just a nonprofit, there's not a whole lot out there for this kind of money to go to a parking study. A lot of times I'm seeing cities, or actually like, you know, JPAs or whatever that are able to do this. And I was chatting offline with Dennis, and maybe there's, we can continue to reach out to MST, various other stakeholders and make it part of their, and this is very, very offline, so I mean, I know it's being recorded, but this is just a random chat. But, where we can find some other stakeholders in the district that have more transportation things to do, and where we can link various things together, and we would not be the actual grantor, or, I'm sorry, we would not be the actual funder or the agency getting the money. It would be, MST or, the city or whatever doing the exact same that we're asking for. But I'm not finding anything for us as a 501c3 to get this kind of money for doing a study like this. All the economic, because it's an economic development thing, and all those economic development things are not in our wheelhouse for what we do.
So, can I suggest maybe if we want to pursue the concept, that be part of a work plan, but it be in coalition building, really.
Mm-hmm.
It really shouldn't be one entity, and so if you think it's important to continue pursuing, then it's not necessarily us receiving money, but us facilitating the stakeholders to figure out a way to make it happen.
I can do that.
And so that could be,
Well, I'd like to leave it open. I mean,
Open-ended.
because, there may be a hook, some grantor has a certain hook that we could sort of cram it into.
So we continue to work on it,
Right.
but be open to having partners
Well, and
involved.
on land use, item number 7, sub-item 2, study downtown streets, reduce speeds, improve circulation, pedestrian safety, and broaden parking options. I mean, it's in the work plan already, but I can add a,
Maybe you just say sponsor or support, so you can go either way.
got it.
What about the traffic issues?
Continue advocating for them as the vibrancy plan dictates on item number 1. And part of that is
Are we sending letters to?
we have not. We have not.
I suggest it's time to send letters to the city.
Okay.
They have not looked at the traffic issues. They have not maintained the public works department on evaluation of the diagonal scramble.
Okay.
It's failed, in my opinion.
So is that another amendment to the land use plan that 7.2?
I don't think we need to put it in the work plan verbatim like that, but it is advocacy, and so that is
It's time to play hardball.
yeah?
Yes. I'm tired of seeing traffic backed up all the way, either way, and especially down Main Street, all the way to John Street.
Can I suggest this? Can I draft an addendum, a proper addendum, because I don't want to write this into the work plan, I've just taking notes, that I can write up a whole addendum to the work plan, and we can hit it next meeting, and so you guys can review my verbiage.
Do we have time to do that? I mean, when does this need to be?
Oh, we're going to make an amendment or addendum.
Yeah, I personally, I'd like to see this tomorrow.
Yeah.
At City Hall.
Okay. And it's whatever you
Well, I
board
mean, you
decide.
could use some generic language, you don't have to say exactly what's gonna happen, it's, we could advocate for traffic, improvements, or remediate traffic problems, and just, that covers
City
whatever we.
He's heard from 150 Main Street, very loud and clear.
Yeah.
Nothing has happened.
Greg, you're saying to table this till next meeting then so you have time to amend it? Or you're saying to approve this and then amend it next week?
I would say approve it, amend it next meeting. So at least we have something on the books that said, yes, we're doing it, and then for goals, support and advocate, and then take that advocacy and expound on that, and say, write formal letters to X, Y, and Z. So it just, I mean, it's in here already loosely, and I mean, I can start sending off letters, but I also want you guys to approve what I'm sending off, because that might not be the exact message that you're looking for, what I write.
Well, I think if it's in there, I mean, we don't have to put the actual activities that we're going to do. These are like the goals. These are the broad organizing goals that we want to work on this. And the activities that can come out of the committee or the board or some other source. We
And
don't have to.
I can start drafting the letters, and then maybe you guys approve them during the next meeting, or whenever that event happens, and then we send them out.
I don't see letters as a very effective activity.
I mean, there's just a big gap. Or do you want to just have a working committee or a working group that as I draft these letters, you guys sort of, it's in the work plan, it's in land use. We run it by, and we just start drafting the letter and start sending them out. Because it's in the work plan as an advocacy, but, I mean, what do you guys?
What I feel, my experience works, is you pull advocates together. You unify a community behind your vision, and then you create the human resources that show up at a public meeting, or you advocate and you represent a broad swath of the community, and you do it with that kind of, human resource. Letters are, nothing is going to happen with the letter. It's going to happen if we show up in person.
Fair enough. I mean, whatever you guys want me to do, but I can start pulling people together and do a council.
So I would move that we just put the language in there that we're going to work on traffic in our district. This will be one of our priorities. We'll work on
To push a vibrancy plan with their recommendations of the
We don't
traffic.
have to do anything specific, that we're just gonna work on traffic. So whatever we see as a problem, it's covered in our plan.
Okay. For me?
So everybody agree we have a problem?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then let's address it.
It's the Market Street, when I'm coming out of my office, I mean, it's backed up like
Oh, yeah, it's
6
crazy.
blocks, 7 blocks.
So then, where did we land as far as the technicality? Are we gonna approve what's here and then come back with an amendment? Because now we're adding traffic, general plan update, and zoning code update. Do you need
And
more
I think as
time
far as when
for
it
the
comes to the
language?
amendment, that 7 is all related to seeking grants. So the 1, 2, 3 under 7 is all related to seeking grants, and that's not what you guys are talking about. So I think you're gonna have separate headings. So I think you have to approve this today and then do an amendment next month.
Okay. I
Redoing that.
I can get together with you guys and draft the proper amendments, and we'll addend them or amend them in January.
So we'll approve them as is, and then you'll come back with amendments. Okay.
Because it's only 1 or 2 subheadings that we're touching.
And then that gives you a structure to work with in the meantime. Okay.
That's what I'm looking for, yes.
So I move to approve as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion?
I'll just bring up a little bit about, like on Alice South Street.
Public comment.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sorry. On Alice South Street, like when you're leaving town from Lincoln to Church, it's like Lincoln will go green and Church will be red. So you're like revving up just to stop. And it's like a timing issue with a lot of these stoplights that's causing the choke, especially on Alice South Street that I'm aware of.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a motion on the table, we've had discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries, thank you. So then the next, and then that'll be agendized for next month to bring back an
Yes.
amendment. Okay, and then the next item is the budget revision.
So yeah, so that was, we approved the draft budget last meeting, and it's a draft because we didn't know what year-end financials where we were going to end up. And so all we're doing today is just approving the final budget, which just amends essentially what our carryover was from the prior year. So we were pretty darn close. We were budgeting for expecting $190,685 left over at the end of the fiscal year. We ended up with $193 and $93, so kind of like $2,500 more than originally budgeted. So the numbers are pretty darn close. So, just want to prove that, so we've got actual numbers going forward. Not lucky this time. And then I'm done.
And you're
I'm stepping
done.
I'm stepping off the board after this meeting, so.
Thank you.
Oh,
that's the next thing we were talking about.
7 years on the board, so
Yeah.
move on.
Thank you so much.
Great job, great job. We're gonna miss.
Thank you for your service.
I'll still be active, so don't worry about that.
Good.
Still in town.
I will promotion.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve that amended budget?
We'll move approval.
Or,
Second.
okay. Any further discussion?
Or public comment.
Public comment? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries. We have a new budget, and thank you so much, Greg. Okay, thank you very much. I guess we have, we've done this meeting. If there's no further discussion, we are adjourned.
Good job.